Hello there everybody, a very good morning to you all and welcome back to howtotrade.com and welcome back to another live stream here in our trading room across our X channels, YouTube, Facebook, LinkedIn and of course in our trading room. It's good to see everybody here on what is a monumental day, not just in markets, but in politics, in the world, in everything really. We're really excited to be bringing to you this live election day stream. Obviously I'm from the UK. We do have an analyst over in the US called Shane who's going to be breaking down the results sort of as they come in. I know it's obviously the middle of the night there in the US, so I'm early, but I'm going to give you my early predictions in terms of who I think may win and what I think that may do for the stocks, for the US stocks, and also for the US dollar as well. So if you missed Shane's stream yesterday, he spoke about the impact that this could have on either scenario, Harris or Trump, on what that could mean on oil and gold. And I'm going to come on and I'm going to give you my prediction on what I think that could mean for stocks and the dollar today. A bit of an unusual stream, of course, because it is election day. So if you are around in the trading room or on any of the social media channels, what I want you to do right now is I want you to just give me one name, not who you want to win. Who do you think is going to win today? I want to know in the comment section, Trump or Harris. Drop that in the comment section. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to tally them up and I'm going to see what the consensus is for you guys out there. So I want to see what you think. For a long time, I thought Trump is going to win. And then I had this sort of like feeling in my stomach yesterday that Harris might win. I was speaking to Shane and I just said, you know what, Shane? I have no idea. I have absolutely no idea. It's very, very close. That's for sure. So in the comment section, drop who you think is going to win this US election race. Do you think it will be Trump or do you think it will be Harris? I'm interested to see what you think out there. Hello to you all anyway in the trading room. It's good to see you all nice and active today. If you're not active today in the markets, if you can't get excited for a day in the markets like today, then you never will. Martin174, hello to you. Nico Dodo, hello to you. Jeanette, a very good morning. Bobby, or Jeanette, good evening for you, I imagine. Bobby, hello to you. I hope you're doing well. Marco, good to see you as well. Jeffy, good hello to you. Hope you're doing well. Kirkton, good to see you as always. David, hello to you. Clone, good to see you as well. Wow. I've not seen anyone say Harris yet. I've not seen anyone say Harris. Does anyone out there think Harris is going to win? Jeanette says Trump. Martin174 says Trump. Kirkton says Trump. Bobby says Trump. Ivy says Trump. Bruce and Nick on the YouTube channel. All of you think that Trump's going to win it. Wow, that would be interesting. Jeanette, hello. Hi Connor, where would you watch the election? What website would you go to? I'm going to stay up for a while. I don't have any paid services, thanks. I would imagine that probably maybe your best bet would be to go to Sky News. Can you get Sky News? For me, it's probably like a Sky or BBC. I imagine in the US it's like Fox, any of those, but yeah. I imagine that you can just go on Sky News or on BBC News Live and you can have a look to see what's going on. Let me just see if I can find that for you. If you go Sky News Election Live. Yeah, they are doing a live. Here we are, look. I think this will be like a live coverage of that. And look, you can watch Sky News here as well and sort of keep up to date with what's going on. These are the timings, guys. It can be quite confusing. It's confusing for me. It's a different way of doing things, obviously, and it's obviously on such a larger scale than it is here in the UK. But here's the timings for all the different polling stations that open in each state here in the US, over in the US. You've got Eastern times and UK times listed here. So Vermont, 10 a.m. UK time just now. So we're going to just start to get right now the first votes counted over in Vermont, and then you've got 11 a.m. Connecticut, Kentucky, and then there you can see all of them. The final one, the polls close at 11 p.m. UK time and 6 p.m. Eastern time. When will we hear a winner? Shane reckons, our analyst in the US, Shane, thinks that we won't hear a winner for quite some time. He thinks that there will be a bit of a delay. I don't disagree with that because there's been quite a lot of, what should we say, claims, allegations of fraud, of fixing the voting and all that stuff. I imagine that that's going to be very much heightened in this particular election just because it's so close. Because it is so close. I mean, people are saying that this could be one of, if not the most, or the closest election that we've seen in history, really. So yeah, it's going to be really, really interesting, to be fair. So let's just have a quick look. Is there anyone around on anywhere else? I want to hear more predictions, guys. I want to hear more. Do you think that we could see Trump or Harris win? I want to know your predictions. Put it in the chat rooms. Any of the chat rooms that you've got on there, I want to hear what your predictions might be. And just see if I can get any of the chat room up on here as well. Okay, no, there we go. Right. So I want to say as well that I'm not here to give any political biasness towards any of the candidates. I don't really have. I'm detached from it in a way because I'm from the UK. I know it will have some sort of impact on the UK. But I want to talk to you today from a trader's point of view. I want to know. Well, I want to provide to you what I think may happen with stocks and the US dollar should either win. So don't ask me for my opinion. I'm just going to give you my opinion on the markets. Don't ask my opinion on anything else. Jeanette is staying up. Wow, I love to see that. Okay, so we know it's close. We know that it's going to be maybe not tonight that we hear the winner. It might be tomorrow that we hear or see the winner. What does it mean for markets? That's the most important thing. What does it mean for the US dollar? I will just tell you now that generally speaking, Trump is seen as more inflationary particularly because of the tariffs that he's going to be or potentially be implementing. Donald Trump's proposing tariff increases that, if implemented in full, would take the average rate up to levels not seen since the 1930s. Some analysts predict that this could push up inflation, lower global trade, and therefore reduce global economic growth, being bad for stocks and bonds. Higher tariffs favour domestic businesses over their overseas competitors. This would benefit smaller companies over their larger ones, so on a more localised scale. And what that would essentially mean is, if that was true, and no one really knows, if you go back to when Trump won it in 2016, we saw a big gap down in the stock market, but we then got the massive Trump rally for the next 4 years. So with stocks, it's a little bit different. With the US dollar, what I think we can maybe say today is that should we get a Trump victory today, I imagine that the US dollar will receive bids as a result of that. And I'm talking about initially. Because what you don't know is what will happen in the medium term once he's in power and all that sort of stuff. So let's just say for today, should Trump win the US election, I'm going to put a target level on the US dollar up at 105. Trump win. Okay, you can see that really clearly, hopefully. I think the markets over probably the last month or so have been pricing in that Trump win, because you can see the US dollar has been performing quite well after what had been a really rocky summer for the US dollar. Okay, so with that in mind, bear that one in mind, 105. What would that mean for, let's just say, for euro dollar as the most obvious example to try and trade that? So a euro dollar trade, if Trump was to win, dollar positive off the back of the announcement or whatever it is, if we start to see that coming through, and we could probably say, right, we're going to see euro dollar I reckon, at least come down to this and fill this fair value gap, which is about 60 pips away from where it is right now. Or maybe as a more of a longer term target, we may see the continuation of the daily trend and maybe see it reverse down towards 1.07. So that's about what? That's about 130 pips. So I'm going to mark that in there as well. So when it comes to actually trading this today, you have to be very careful, because the only way you can really trade it is if you think one of them's going to win. Like if you believe that Trump is going to win, then you could say, right, I want to short euro dollar because I believe Trump's going to win. And I want to short euro dollar down towards the swing lows, really down at on October's lows at 1.076. Okay. Should Harris win, that would be generally seen as more dollar negative. Now, the reason that I do believe that as well is because when we look at what happened over the weekend, what we've been seeing is that a Trump win being priced into the markets. And then over the weekend, there was a poll out. Is it Iowa? I think it was. The polls came out there and they saw Harris that was winning by 3 points. And that was one of those like states which would normally be a red state, a Trump state. Then what we saw just off the back of that, we saw if you look at what happened yesterday, look, there's Sunday's candle. We saw gaps in the market and gaps down in the US dollar because the markets potentially thought that Harris might win. Just because the poll changed in it might have been in Iowa, it might have been somewhere else. And so if Harris was to win, I want to give a prediction for the US dollar. And I think we could see the US dollar fall down towards and maybe test 103. Okay. Okay, that's what I believe. When you then marry it up to euro dollar, you would say that, well, this test of this fair value gap would be respected, and then we probably could see euro dollar make a move up to 1.1. And I think the markets will have more of a shock and more movement will be created from a Harris win than a Trump win. So if Trump was to win, I would set your dollar targets. Probably I'll be a little bit more conservative on the dollar targets, because you could argue that maybe the markets have been pricing a Trump win in for about a month or so, although it tailed off over the last sort of this week really. But a Harris win, because that's not as priced in, I would say that you could see more movement than if Trump wins. Okay. So that's what I think on that. I'm just going to pause for a second just to see if there's any questions in the room or anything like that. Bluefin, he's come in and said he believes that Harris is going to win. Okay, fantastic. That's our first one. We've had about 15 people say that Trump is going to win. Not who they want to win, but who they think is going to win. Anyone else who's maybe just joined a bit later on, we're just doing a little bit of a voting game between ourselves. So if you have an opinion on who you think is going to win, not who you want to win, put it in the comment section. I want to know who you think is going to win on YouTube or on any of the channels that you can see. Okie dokie, you're right. Should Trump win, where do we think stocks will go? Well, I think that if Trump was to win, what we may see is a continuation of this leg lower that we've seen. You can just see how this is the S&P 500. You can just see how it's been pausing, and it's almost created as almost like a bearish flag. So should Trump win, I see no reason why we might see an initial move lower down towards really the there's basically the full retracement of the Fibonacci, which I've drawn in here. And also, it would mean a breakdown below quite a lot of support here for the S&P 500 at 5,700. There's quite a lot of support here. So I think that would break. And then we may see a move down towards 4,650 or at least 4,670. I think as well that whether you agree with this or not, I think globally, maybe, I'm just putting it out there, that Trump is maybe seen, I'm not saying he is, but maybe is seen or perceived to be more of a risk in a time where the world is really a pretty rubbish place with all the wars and tensions and geopolitical tensions that are going on at the moment. And so therefore that may fuel the sort of sell-off that we may see initially if Trump was to win. Okay, if Harris was to win, again, the tariff thing and all of that, I'm not saying that that's necessarily going to happen, but maybe Harris is seen as more positive for the stock market initially. I say initially because I'll go back to 2016 when Trump won and there was a gap lower in the S&P 500. I'll go back to that and see if I can find it. But then for the next 4 years, it just went on an absolute tear up and we got the big Trump rally. I mean, I remember the times when Trump used to post a rocket emoji and it used to cause a rise in the stock market. That's the sort of times we live in. And I think that should Harris win today or tomorrow, whenever it's announced, I think that what we may see is a move up towards this resistance area at 5,844. Okay. And there's really my predictions for the S&P 500 and the US dollar. So Trump win, dollar positive. Harris win, dollar negative. Trump win, stock market negative. Harris win, stock market positive. That is as loose a prediction as I can give. The bottom line is no one knows. You know, people come out and say they know what's going to happen today. I just find that absolutely bonkers, to be honest with you. But there we go. See if I can go back to 2016. Oh, is it letting me do it? There we go. The 2016 election date was on November the 8th, 2016. Here. Around this time, around this weekly candle. And look at that weekly candle in the S&P 500. We saw it snap lower. What we did see is a lot of volatility. You can see that the market went from 2,100 down to 2,000, basically down to 2,000. And then the next week gapped lower and then basically recovered all of the losses saw in the previous week. Before then over really the rest of that year, we saw the S&P 500 tail off somewhat. And then what happened after that, as you can see, heading into 2017. Have I got that right? Where is it? I've just lost it now. Oh, it was 2015. Where was 2016? Here it is. I finally found it. Sorry. Let's talk about that again. What we saw initially off the back of the news that Trump had won is when you look at what happened that week is we saw a big very initial move lower in the stock market. And then what we saw was a lot of volatility. Look at that gap lower we saw in 2017 as well. And then we saw that what's been dubbed as the Trump rally. So I would be very careful if you're short in stocks just because Trump has won. I'm talking about this from an initial short-term reaction, like bang, there's the reaction from it. And I think you add into, because this is a different time to 2016, And I think you add into the heightened geopolitical risks and maybe Donald Trump being seen as more of a risk in that situation, more fiery, more likely to initiate conflict, should we say? And therefore, we could see that sort of similar sort of move in the S&P 500. Okay, now if you are looking to trade today, be very careful about trading. I am going to just completely sit out. I've got one trade open, and that's on the USD versus the Swiss franc. I'm going to just sit back and I'm going to watch that one play out. I'm currently short in it, and it's running quite well. From your understanding, Ivy, that would probably be correct because the stronger dollar but then it's a bit more difficult with gold and silver, to be honest, because what you have to realise with gold is I think Trump creates more uncertainty maybe because of how he is. And therefore, when we have periods of uncertainty, investment flows do generally like flock to gold, in times of uncertainty. And therefore, I can't necessarily say that if Trump was to win, that gold is going to crash. But I would check out Shane's stream yesterday because I think he had a bit more of an idea on what that could mean. Now, if you do want to trade today and you want to take advantage of the volatility, that's great. What I'd recommend that you do is over at switchmarkets.com, if you haven't got a trading account and you want to get one started, then Switch Markets are currently offering a deal where if you deposit up to $5,000, they'll match that deposit, which is quite cool. So feel free to check that one out if you would like to do so. Good luck to those who are trading today. Zia1234 says that Trump is going to win and has asked me what my analysis is going to be on AED versus USD, which I don't mind having a look at just quickly. Here it is. I posted in the room yesterday. You'll notice I posted a trade idea, which was an entry at 657.50. Last night I got to 657.90. So I was 4 pips away from my buy being initiated. You can see what happened. And so as a result, the rules that I follow myself, Zia, is that if I do get swerved on my entry, and you can see that liquidity was taken there, then the move was higher. Unfortunately, I'm going to have to go on my MT4 and I'm going to have to delete that buy limit, unfortunately. Got the direction right. I think it may be a safer bet as well because I do believe I'm already exposed to USD versus the Swiss franc. I've been short on that ever since. Really, I've been short on that from about 869.90. So yeah, I've just deleted that order. Same sort of thing though. You know, if we're talking about a Trump win, we're talking about dollar positive, and therefore AED USD downside. A Harris win, AED USD upside. That's my prediction. All we can do now is sit and wait. Let's see what happens with these markets. A little bit tentative today, I've noticed. Not massive moves that I've seen. But when those votes start to roll in and we get more of an idea of who is actually going to win, I imagine that's when the market moves will start to kick in. So good luck to those who are participating today, to those who have voted in the US. You know, I imagine there's not many US people awake right now. But for your sake, I hope your leader wins. And I'll be sitting back here in the UK and watching it all unfold. And I'll also be active in the trading room should anyone have any questions for me. Thank you very much for tuning in today. That was your initial European election day stream. Make sure you tune in to Shane's stream later on today. He will be on at prime time. So I imagine there's going to be a lot of people watching that stream. So I look forward to tuning into that one as well. Good luck.